Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tabor Talk. So, I was interrupted on my last video. The rain was really coming out. I think it's settled down now. It's just a thunderstorm. But I was talking a little bit about Houston Smith. Cannot recommend this book enough. This book changed my life. And why I'm bringing this up now, I want to talk a little bit about the first chapter. He gets into all the different religions, the Eastern stuff, Hinduism, Taoism, Buddhism, Confucianism even, and then the monotheistic Abrahamic traditions like Judaism and Islam and Christianity. He talks a bit about the primal traditions, even Native American stuff. But the very first religion he discusses is Hinduism. And I'm rereading this. I've read this twice. I'm going through it for a third time. And I memorize passages here. I have notebooks, stacks of notebooks on Houston Smith's world religions. But anyway, in the first chapter, he talks about these stages in life, right? And then the rite of passage when you're a younger person, and going from a boy to a man, and then then there is young adulthood and middle age, old age, all these things. Now there are stages in life, and it's good to stay as long as necessary, but when it's time, you have to move on, which is a great segue into what I want to talk about. So I'm doing this podcast, or I'm starting a podcast in October, and I'm making some tapes here, and I'm putting it on YouTube, and I want to reach as many people as possible. Now, who's on the internet? Who's on YouTube? Young people. People younger than me. All right, so you have Generation Z, millennials, right? How many people my age are on the internet? Not a whole lot. And then they're not the people who are commenting. And I'm going to say something about people my age. All right? A lot of them are fucking almost dead. They're like boring. They're so old and crusty and fuddy-duddy, and they're just tired. They seem tired. They don't watch Fox News, But I actually have two really good friends who watch Fox on the right, and they're not like that at all. They know who they are. They watch my videos. They're really cool. They're like immature. I think I'm a little immature. I don't know. I hope in a good way. But I have great enthusiasm for life. I am anything but an old crusty fuck, So, and I don't stop. As you could see, how many video recordings people my age say, "Holy fuck, I can't keep up with you." And I go, "Listen, man, nobody can. Nobody could keep up with me. I go from the time I get up until I fall asleep. I listen to podcasts, I read books, and I exercise, and I make these things. I don't stop." So, but here is the important thing to consider. Now, it's good to stay young and fresh, right? You want to be young and hip, if you will. But the thing is, don't be a fool, right? So I talk about Houston Smith, and there's also another hero of mine, Jordan Peterson. Everyone knows Jordan. It's important to be, yes, cool and happening and hip, but be age appropriate as well. Like, you don't want to be some 40-year-old going to the nightclub. You know what I mean? It's good to relate to the kids, but still act your age. So, all right. So I'll leave it at that. And I'm going to try to... I'm doing my own thing. I speak from the heart. That's the only way to do these things, is to speak from the heart. But I am going to be mindful of who is watching this. And I'm going to be talking about things that affect younger people too, It's really hard out there. People, millennials, Generation Z, and all that. I'll say one thing. I'll leave it on this. Like, everyone says, I always bash Trump and it's horrible. I'll say this one good thing about Donald Trump. He's 72 years old, but he's got fire in his belly. He has this zeal. I mean, you know, I say he's immature, and he really is. He really is like a 9-year-old. But man, this guy has passion, love. I mean, his whole life. I will say that he's 72 years old, and look at the fucking guy. He is incredible. I mean, he doesn't stop. Can you imagine this campaigning, the energy level of Trump? So I'll give you that, Trump. You're an asshole and you're a monster and you're all these terrible things, but at least you have this. You're not an old fuck who's ready to die. All right, Tabor Talk.